We have previously seen how the Productivity Tools module allows us to see through KBs, that is browsing, searching, and comparing. We are now focusing on the versioning and traceability module. Here, time is introduced as a variable to manage because this module provides a vision of your projects through time. Let's begin by looking at GxTend's versioning feature. GxTend captures the evolution of entities, keeping the different versions in one repository. This repository is inside GxTend's database. It can be used as a backup, which is useful when dealing with critical situations. But perhaps that is not the most important use. The repository is much more than a backup, because GxTend lets the user browse, search, and compare any stored version. The user has the same searching, browsing, and comparing capabilities over the repository as in the Productivity Tools module. Now, what do we mean by the term entity? Entities are any exportable object in GNexus, or any external file contained in a file system. These external files can be online help, documentation, external libraries, or configuration files. They are all equally important when versioning because the evolution of these entities is closely related. In the picture, we can see the People and Organizations KB opened and showing its entities. We can take the model properties, objects, domain, attributes, but there is also external data and database structure. Regarding the database structure, GxTend versions the structure of each table with its indexes. It also versions the navigation of each object, which is particularly important when migrating from one GNexus version to another. Let's look at GxTend's versioning process implementation. GxTend preserves logging records of each operation for further analysis, which utterly contributes to its robustness. The web interface allows the user to monitor the process. By clicking on the blue magnifying glasses on the left, we can start to search and browse the different versions of the objects. The richness of knowledge and data contained in the repository allows for metrics and reports. In the slide, we can see a chart displaying a ranking of the 5 most modified objects in a period of time. We are now describing revisions. Versions and revisions are different concepts, although they are closely related. While versioning covers the evolution of each entity in isolation, revisions group the existing versions at a given time. In other words, a revision is like a snapshot of entities and their relationships. This grouping capability is very important. It is needed to reflect how entities evolve together. A revision also includes a cross-reference of GNexus entities so that they can be used to navigate among them from a browser. The picture shown represents 4 revisions, from number 0 to number 3. These revisions can be used for searching, browsing, and comparing. We see now the selection of 2 revisions. Once they are selected, the entities that differ are shown. A revision allows you to record very important information. For instance, it can be related to a customer's deliverable product so that we know which version or revision a customer has. In the slide, we see the version numbers for the deliverable. By adding or modifying the description of a revision, we can quickly distinguish it from the rest afterwards. For example, we might be interested in distinguishing a revision that passed a thorough SQA test. The web interface lets the user upload the reorganization file. Then, GxTend not only stores version knowledge, but also important operational files in the application's lifecycle. And perhaps the most remarkable thing is that, so far, everything is accomplished in a non-intrusive implementation. By non-intrusive, we mean that the tool does not need to change the working environment to provide all these features. Once GxTend is installed, it starts working as a support tool for developers with all the tools we have seen so far. Traceability allows the user to record the reason for changes. The user can do this from the web browser. GxTend also allows the user to attach any information related to the change, like an incident report from support personnel. The figure represents the application evolution due to requirements or bug fixes. All this information is very important for the organization. Versioning and traceability are required issues on quality certification or the auditing process. GxTend's traceability implementation provides a practical approach for recording the information. The developer records the information right after the change is made, simply using the web browser. It can also be entered during check-in or check-out operations if this concurrency scheme is used. Once traceability information is recorded, it can be accessed from any browser logged in GxTend. We can find an entry type called object change log, like the one shown in the red box that displays the recorded traceability information. Additional entry types can be added. For instance, you can add a traceability entry type interfacing with a bug tracking or ticket system. Within this entry type, the user can select the bug tracking incident related to a change. The recorded information provides a way to integrate GxTend and the bug tracking system.